delay there. And thank you everyone for coming to the grad orientation today. And hello to anyone watching on Zoom as well. My name is David Lafferty, and I'm one of the professional development coordinators for the Faculty of Graduate and Postdoctoral Affairs. We have a great lineup of speakers who are here to welcome you and provide some important information. But before we begin, I'd just like to take a moment to acknowledge that the land on which we gather is the traditional and unceded territory of the Algonquin Nation. And with that, I'd like to introduce our first speaker, Dr. Benoit Antoine Bacon, President of Carleton University.
All right, thanks so much, David, and thanks to the good people who fixed the technical difficulties. They're much appreciated. Good afternoon, everybody. Bonjour tout le monde. J'espère que ça va bien. It's great to see people in person. It's great to see people on campus after 2 years where we had to do this fully online, but hi as well to everybody on Zoom. Welcome, everybody, to Carleton University. I think you'll find that our university is a warm and welcoming place, and I hope you're off to a good start today. I'm especially happy to welcome you today, our new graduate students. You're such an important part of our core mission, academic mission, research mission. I want to start by thanking you all for choosing Carleton. I think that shows that you're very smart, and I'm excited to welcome you all today. We're thrilled that you're here because we chose you too. We welcome you into our graduate programs because we know that you add value to our community, to our departments, to our campus. So just that I get a sense of who you are, can I ask, who was already in Ottawa before starting your grad program here at Carleton? Any Ottawa locals? Great, great. It's a wonderful city. Why leave it? Smart move. Anybody Ontario, but not Ottawa? Great. Welcome to our national capital, Ontarians. Wonderful. Canada, but not Ontario? All right, West Coast, East Coast, the North, welcome everybody. International students, any international students? Welcome. Wow, lots of international students, welcome. This is, yeah, a hand for everybody. Here you go. The world comes to Carleton. That's fantastic to see everyone. I've been at Carleton 4 years already, starting year number 5 for me. It's gone really fast. It's been amazing. I chose Carleton too. We all make personal decisions in our lives based on our values, and that's what I did, and I think that's what you did too. I chose very, very carefully. I wanted a university exactly like this one, with innovative programs made for the 21st century, not the 20th century, always looking forward, not back, great student experience, fantastic career outcomes, and all of this you will benefit from. A place that cared about innovation and research, and this is particularly important for this crowd here, graduate students. Innovation and research that makes the world a better place. That's one of the ways through which we have impacted the university, and our research funding in the past 4 years. And our research funding is not equivalent to the quality and impact of research, but it's a good proxy. It means people are willing to invest in what we do here, partner with us, invest in our ideas. Our research funding has grown by 79% in 4 years to about $100 million a year, in great part thanks to engineering and science and all the great work that is being done there. I was also looking for a place that had a real sense of community, a warm and welcoming place, a place where you can belong, but also a place where you can be yourself and you don't have to conform and be like everybody else. And I hope you'll find, I know you'll find Carleton to be such a place. So we're a big place, an impactful place. We're in the we're in our national capital, Ottawa, and that provides students with so many special opportunities. I think you're joining us at a particularly exciting time. There's great momentum here. We're about to welcome over 30,000 students on our beautiful campus this fall from all across Canada, as we saw, over 165 countries around the world, and 5,000 or so will be graduate students such as yourself, which is a fairly high percentage. I think we have the most beautiful campus in Canada. We're bound by water, lots of green, and fantastic facilities. And we keep building. In the last 4 years, we built like essentially one brand new building every year. 4 years ago, health sciences. Anybody in the health sciences, you'll benefit from these labs and incredible facilities. Then the Arise building, if you have a chance to check that out, it's especially for tech research in partnership with industry. It's a very special place. There's a new engineering building for capstone projects where you get big garage doors to roll in the big engineering projects, and it's a very, very beautiful facility. And then a new home for our Sprott School of Business, the Nickel building, and with much more to come. So big place, great momentum, great research, great community, and we're really, really thrilled to welcome you today. Lots of people will give you lots of advice today, information and tricks to get off to a great start. I'll give you only two. One, take advantage of the fact that you're new to ask any questions that you need to ask. I've been here 4 years. I still say I'm kind of new, so can I ask you this? Can I ask you that? And people are always very generous with their answers. Asking questions is one of the secrets to life, so don't be shy. Ask your questions. And two, even more importantly, I think that's the key advice. Please enjoy every single day of your graduate student experience. A graduate degree is such an incredible journey, professionally and personally. It's a journey of self-discovery. It's a journey into thinking. It's an intellectual and spiritual adventure, and I'm sure that you'll enjoy it very much. You'll learn a lot, but I think even more importantly, you'll learn to always challenge what's possible. And for lack of a better word, you'll learn to interact with the world with a sense of purpose and resilience, and hopefully from that will come gratitude, which is the secret to life. There you have it, everybody. I hope you're excited about today and about the year ahead. I'm excited for you. Like, if I could do it all over again, I'd switch places with you. I think you're at the beginning of something absolutely fantastic. I wish you all the best for today and for a great year. Thanks for choosing Carleton. Take care.
Thank you so much, Benoit. And our next speaker I'd like to introduce is Dr. Patrice Smith, Dean of the Faculty of Graduate and Postdoctoral Affairs, or FGPA.
Thanks, David, and thank you, Benoit. Always a pleasure. So grateful that you took the time to come and speak with our graduate students. Having been a graduate student myself many years ago, I can tell you that it is an exceptional experience to be a graduate student and make the most of it. As Benoit has said, you know, take the time to interact with the community, meet new people, and engage with not only your supervisor and the people in your own discipline, but branch out and try to think about interdisciplinary opportunities that you might be able to engage in. You know, the world that we see now, right, is not going to be the same world we're going to be part of 10 years from now. 10 years ago, right, we could not have imagined, and I'm speaking this to the scientists and engineers in the room, a world where we could essentially switch from in-person to online or remote delivery of courses, drop of a hat, right? So I think it is important to think about the opportunities that are out there for you and some of the ways in which you can innovate. And as graduate students, that's part of the job, right? It's innovation. Think about the new ways of doing things. I'm starting out a lot of advice right off the bat without even introducing myself, but thank you, David, for introducing me. I have been at Carleton now for around 14 years. I am a professor of neuroscience. I have graduate students myself. I've been supervising graduate students since I joined Carleton. So I have a little bit of experience there in the graduate experience and from my own perspective, but also from the perspective of my graduate students. And every graduate student that comes in requires different ways of supervision. So one student might require a lot of attention, another student might go off and do their own thing, and you check in every so often and you're still doing your thing, right? So one of the best advice I think I could give to graduate students, don't compare yourself too much with your peers, please, because your pace is not going to be the same as another person's pace. And so some students might have 10 publications at the end of their graduate studies, you might have one, but it doesn't matter, right? It's your own pace, it's your own experience, enjoy the journey. So my job is really to introduce you to the Faculty of Graduate and Postdoctoral Affairs, but I've gone off there on a little bit of a tangent to just give you a sense as to some of the experiences that I have had. So the Faculty of Graduate and Postdoctoral Affairs is really a group of dedicated staff to really support graduate students. They're there for you. We provide graduate support services for you. We help you with securing funding, providing you with information about funding, career development opportunities. We provide you with, some of the services and supports that are available to graduate students within the institution. We develop policies. Many of those policies are driven by student experience. So if there's something that you feel as though, this could be better, or this could be something that that the institution could develop in terms of making your experience more excellence in your experience, please feel free to reach out to us and let us know what your experience has been at Carleton, so that we can develop those policies to enhance your experience here at Carleton. So we have quite a few speakers that will be speaking to you today, including your GSA, your Graduate Student Association representatives. They will tell you a bit more about some of the activities that might be going on this week and throughout the year. We do coordinate quite heavily with your Graduate Student Association. So if something comes up and you don't feel particularly comfortable coming to us at the Faculty of Graduate and Postdoctoral Affairs, please reach out to your Graduate Student Association representatives, and they will help you with coordinating a response to whatever issue that comes up. So again, we're here to support you. That's the job. The description is Faculty of Graduate and Postdoctoral Affairs is here to support and provide services for graduate students and postdoctoral fellows. So if something comes up, please feel free to reach out. The best place to reach us is gradstudents.carleton.ca, but you can also come by and visit with us at 512 Torrey Building. So the 5th floor of the Torrey Building is where we're located. That's your best bet for reaching out to us. I should mention as well that even though you are part of units or departments that form part of a faculty, your first line of communication tends to be through the Faculty of Graduate and Postdoctoral Affairs, because we're really dedicated specifically towards supporting graduate students. So one of the ways in which you can get information as to what's going on in terms of graduate studies at Carleton is through the graduate student newsletter. That comes out every Thursday. So every Thursday morning, you will see in your inbox the graduate at Carleton. And so that provides you with any news around graduate studies or institutional news, stories, graduate student stories. If you'd like to showcase your research, for instance, please reach out to us, and we'll make an effort there to present some of the research stories. Any announcements that are relevant to graduate students will be there. Important deadlines would also be presented in the graduate newsletter. So once you see that in your mailbox, don't just delete it, open it up and have a look, because there could be very important information there. We also post information around funding opportunities. So look in that newsletter for all of those details around navigating your graduate student journey. So welcome to Carleton. This is an amazing place to be. I chose Carleton 14 years ago, and I feel as though that was the right decision. And I feel as though, as Benoit said, smart decision for you to choose Carleton as well. This is a very supportive community. And I feel as though, as a student, I decided to go to another institution down the road. But if I had known what I know now about Carleton, I would have definitely chosen this institution for all of my studies. So please feel free to reach out to FGPA. So Faculty of Graduate and Postdoctoral Affairs, you'll hear a lot about FGPA as you move forward in your studies, and we'll be happy to help you with navigating your graduate student journey. Thanks everybody, and welcome to Carleton.
Thank you very much, Benoit and Patrice, for welcoming our new students to both Carleton and FGPA. And they both said a lot of very nice things about Carleton. I can attest to them if they're true. I was a graduate student here for a long time, and then working here for a long time, and I hope my kids end up going here. It's a great, great university. So our next speaker is here to introduce you to your student union, the long-running Graduate Students Association at Carleton. So I'd like to welcome up Milan Sangani, President of the GSA.
Welcome everyone here at Carleton University and graduate student community. Myself, Milan Sangani, and I am the president here at Graduate Student Association. So who are we? We are generally students like you. I'm here studying my Masters of Entrepreneurship in the second year. And we represent you as graduate students. So we represent your interest to graduate student university administration, outside community, and the Canadian Federation of Students. So if you have any questions, if you have any support that you need, we are here to help you. We make you available all the resources across the campus as well as outside the campus. Meet our representative, myself, Milan Sangani, and I am the president here. We have Faith Ashil, who is Vice President Operation. We have Ivans, Vice President Finance, Hande as a Vice President Academic, and Navyashri as a Vice President External. What are the services that we are offering and what kind of committees we are having? So we have several committees in terms of accessibility committee. We have academic caucus and resident caucus. So if you need any academic support or any residential support, that we are here to provide you all those support as well. We have a rationalized action committee, consent culture committee, organizational review, and political action. So every year we are having elections on campus. So if you are interested to join us as a president or vice president position, you can run for that particular position every year. So what kind of services available at Graduate Student Association? So we have a nice lounge set up at the 6th floor of University Center, where you can hang out in your leisure time when you are, kind of bored of your submission and final submission, midterm submission, and all academic activities. You can just come there, have some good time. You can play board games and make some new friends over there. We have a good news for you. We have free coffee and tea available for all of you. So you don't need to pay, across the campus on like the different cafes and all. So we have free coffee and tea available for all of you guys. We have several awards and grants to support you financially. For example, the COVID has been a really tough time for all of us. So we have some emergency grants and we have some awards. In the next slide, I'm going to discuss what kind of grants and awards that we are having at Graduate Student Association. So it's not just the Carleton University's grants, it's apart from all the scholarships and grants we are having at Carleton University. So this is the additional perk having a graduate student. So we have some merchandise. So we want you to feel relaxed at a graduate level. So when you are, having leveraging the graduate student launch, we have some merchandise. It says that don't ask me about my thesis. So we just want to make sure that you are having a good time. We are having, you guys are having a comfortable time around the campus. So these are the grants and awards we are having. In terms of grants, we have accessibility grant, dental, emergency, family leave grant, and health leave grants. You can also apply for different kind of awards that it doesn't matter where you are coming from. If you are international student, indigenous student, or you are a domestic students, we have a different kind of award for all of the students. And if you have any other question that what kind of activities going on campus through the semester or at the end of the year activities, mid-semester activities, you can always reach out to us here. So I want all of you guys to take a snap of this slide, get connected on our social media platform, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn, so that you will have all the updates that these kind of activities we are having throughout the semester. We are also opening the positions to work with us. For example, the next month we are opening Mike's Place Pub at the University Center, and we are hiring, some of the paid positions or the recruitments that we are having, and we will post all these positions on our social media. Then you guys can apply for that if you want to join us. Also tonight at 6 p.m. we are also having LGBTQ workshop here on campus, so you guys can join us today, as well as tomorrow we are also having information fair. So please feel free to join us, and don't forget to connect with us on our social media platforms. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Milan. And actually, I'm just going to, in case anyone didn't get it, I'm just going to put that up for one more minute because, the 6th floor of the Unicenter, the GSA Lounge, is just an awesome place. If you just need some time out, some time to read, some time to chat with somebody or hang out, have a nap, it's a great place to go. Highly recommend it. And great to hear that Mike's Place is going to be opening up. That's another great hangout on campus. So next, I would like to introduce a guest speaker that we have today. This is Dr. Banu Ormechi. She is a professor and Yaroslavsky Chair in Water and Global Health in the Department of Civil and Environmental Engineering, as well as the director of the Global Water Institute. And her research focuses on wastewater and biosolids treatment. And she's here to give you a little advice on how to get the most out of your graduate studies here at Carleton. So thank you, Banner. Come on up.
Thanks, everyone. It's wonderful to be here, to get out of the house for me as well. And definitely it's wonderful to see our students in person. First of all, congratulations for choosing Carleton. I moved to Carleton from US, from Duke University, and this was like 15 years ago. Never regretted. It's a wonderful university, and it is the perfect size. What I mean by that, there's some universities that can be too big, that you are lost, but they might be very heavy on research, sometimes at the expense of student teaching, mentoring. And Carleton, like, we do leading edge research, but it's also mentoring is important, teaching is important, and we really support our students. That's something that I'm really proud of. That's definitely what separates Carleton. I think throughout the day you had other orientation sessions, and we have lots of student support on everything. Mental health issues particularly important, especially after COVID, and there is lots of student support as well. So I have a couple of items here that I would like to go over them briefly, and these are really suggestions, and I really hope that you make the best of this experience. So you might be here for 2 years or 4 years, depending on whether you're a master's or PhD student. It's really important to enjoy this time. I mean, everybody says that, but now, like, looking back, I mean, hopefully you will enjoy your research, you will enjoy your studies here, but it should definitely be, it should not definitely be something like, you hated, you know, you don't want to get out of the bed. If that is what you're feeling, that's probably something is wrong, okay? It might be the relation, everybody talked about good things. Now I'm gonna tell you about messy things too, okay? So, like maybe it is your relationship with your supervisor, okay? Sometimes that's a great relationship, sometimes it's a bumpy relationship. But if you run into those things, just remember that there is support available, and you need to simply reach out. And this is particularly important for international students. Sometimes I find that they are shy and they do not reach out for support. And I also suggest to find a mentor. And a mentor, you know, sometimes a student maybe who is like 2-3 years ahead of you can be a mentor. And I am a mentor, you know, there are other professors, but someone maybe you identify with, or that you think that's a good person, okay, like I really like that person. And it doesn't hurt, you know, just approach that person, ask for 5 minutes. And you know, like, this is my experience. Do you think this is okay, or is it me? And then that person can tell you, you know what, like what happened there is okay, or no, it wasn't okay, it definitely is not okay, and this is what you should do, A, B, C, D. And that kind of feedback is very helpful, and it really can make a huge difference in your experience in your student years. Another thing that I would also like to mention, I mean, you guys are accepted here. Obviously, you have very good GPAs, you know, you have strong CVs, but sometimes you come here, you struggle, okay? And it might even be simple things like maybe you have a learning disability or, sorry, difference that you may not be aware of. And my kids have learning differences. And, you know, this is something that we went through. And even simple accommodation can completely change the experience from night to day. Okay. So those things are important. Be productive, you know, play hard, work hard. If you're not productive, you're just like, you know, dragging it, it doesn't benefit you. If you're tired, you should just sleep. You know, it's very important to get enough sleep, but really use your time efficiently. So you're also enjoying this experience. You are squeezing in fun time, but you're also getting your work done. Be involved in clubs, things like that. There's lots of clubs, especially now you want to make friends. It's a great way to meet people that you share same hobbies and interests. And clubs are also really nice for you to build leadership skills. So that's another opportunity. Like clubs have, you know, management groups, presidents, chairs, etc. And you will find that when you apply for scholarships, that is something that comes up. It's not just how high your GPA is, if you all have A's, but they will be looking for your research productivity. I will come back to that. But they will also, there's a section on leadership skills. Okay, how do you become a leader? Okay, you start small, and then you just go from there and you build that portfolio. But when things or opportunities or positions come up, don't just turn them down, because those opportunities can open doors later. And those are things that can also make your CV stronger. Networking is important. Networking is difficult, even for me, like when I go to conferences, I have to network. Is it always easy to socialize or try to meet with people that you maybe have never seen before? No, okay. But especially at your stage, it is very important. And don't just think that networking is, trying to network with, professors or, company owners or big bosses. No. Networking even with your peers is so important, because 10 years down the road, this is going to be your people. These are the same people will hold positions. The same group will go higher and higher in positions, and it does benefit you to have friends, true friends, even in your peer group. But networking is important. Professional development, I mentioned leadership skills, but you will find this at the university. There are lots of workshops. Like, I also am the faculty advisor for women in science and engineering. So we had this huge mentorship series, like, over many years. This was before COVID. During COVID, we tried to do that too. But from simple negotiation, like how to negotiate, how do you negotiate your salary, how do you negotiate with your supervisor? These are all very important skills that will greatly benefit you, not only during your student years, but also when you graduate from the university. You are all graduate students. It's not just getting a degree. You have to publish. Okay, so like we have been talking about the fun stuff, but the work component is also important. Even if you don't stay in academia, you don't have to. When you apply for companies or government, they look at your CV, okay, like you did master's or PhD, but what did you really do? Unless you publish it, it's not really anything sometimes. Nobody will read your thesis, okay? Like, if you want to, it is true. Nobody will read your thesis. Do I even want to see that? It is true. Okay, so if you want your work to be out there, to be searchable, findable, like at least you can put it on your CV, it needs to be published. Okay, so that is important. And if you have a strong CV like that, you can get lots of scholarships. Like, I have students making so much money off scholarships. Money is available, particularly for domestic students. But you need to have these things on your CV. Don't be shy to apply for awards and scholarships, even simple awards. Like, this is one thing I can definitely emphasize, which means you will require to approach a professor and ask for a reference letter. Do you know how many reference letters I write? Okay. So, and this is also, like, you want to do well in your courses, but if you are, participating, etc., professors will be, or other people will be willing to write you letters. But even like really small awards, doesn't matter what it is. An award is an award. It goes on your CV, and like, you don't just get big awards immediately. You step up. Okay. So applying for those are important, and again, don't be shy. If you're rejected, you're rejected. So what? There's no shame in rejection. I get rejected a lot. I'm very successful. Is it in research? People know my successes because, like, if I have research funding, it is announced, but then maybe there is, 5 other proposals that were not successful. Nobody hears about those. Okay. So there is, like, don't feel bad about not being successful or being rejected. I don't have any of that, and it served me very well in life. Ask for feedback and be gracious enough without getting offended to receive feedback. Assuming you're asking for feedback to a decent person, okay. There are those too, but this can be a professor, like, maybe they are trying to communicate something with you. Maybe it's not just like, oh, you did it, you're great. Maybe there is something, there is a feedback there. And I find it these days, it's more difficult to provide feedback because everybody is concerned about possibly offending this person, that person. But that feedback is really so helpful, especially if it is presented in a supportive way. So you know what to change, what you need to work on. Summer jobs are so important. Many of you, I mean, obviously you guys are students, you will want to make money in the summer. Do not go work at grocery stores, you know, like these minimum wage jobs. Yes, it will bring you money, but it doesn't add anything to your career, professional development, or even CV. Try to find positions. They may not pay very well, but that are relevant to your you know, fields or career development. That is something that looks good on CV. Okay, let's come back to the CV again. And those positions are also so important because, you know, if people like you there, they will likely ask you to come back next year or to come back after you graduate. So it can be a direct link to a permanent employment. There is a time to graduate and move on with your life. Sometimes I find that students become like career students. Don't, okay, like, I mean, master's is 2 years. Okay, maybe instrument broke down, something happened, you were sick. 2.5 years is okay, 3 years is not okay. Okay, so there's something wrong there, move on. Same for PhDs. PhD sometimes takes 6-7 years, absolutely not. That is waste of time. And most likely the extra time that you're taking, I'm honest, the extra time you're taking, it doesn't make your PhD better. It's not that you get better publications or more publications, it's just maybe you were slacking, you know, like whatever the problem there. But in general, it's just not good for you. Move on with your life. And I saw that there are lots of international students. I was an international student. It was the first time that I ever was on a plane. You know, I landed in LaGuardia Airport. I even changed airports. And okay, so my advice to you is get out of your comfort zone. Especially the first term, it's not easy to be an international student. Everything is different. You may not have too much money, maybe you have very little, maybe you have no money, maybe, you know. But don't just hang out people from your own country, absolutely not. Okay, for those of you who are not native speaking English speakers, you know, find people that you speak English with. I mean, I know that that was the first 6 months that I never spoke English. I never had the need for it, but it is not good. Okay, so definitely try to make friends. Canadians don't bite, very nice people. Approach Canadian friends. I also see that it's all international students, one group, and then Canadians is another group. Don't, okay? So you learn from each other, but this is a great experience for you as well. So get out of your comfort zone. I think this sums it up. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Banu, and I hope that everyone was listening very carefully because there was a lot of great advice there, especially from a professional development perspective. And you know, I think the overwhelming thing that, you know, we keep trying to push is to break out of your comfort zone. Don't be afraid of being rejected. If you stay in your comfort zone, you're not going to get as far. You're not going to make those important connections. So at this point, we'd like to shift gears a little bit and introduce you to some student services that you'll absolutely want to know about as graduate students. So first, I'd like to speak with you a little bit, along with my colleague Kareem Abouawad, about graduate professional development at Carleton. So as graduate students, you know, of course, you're going to be focused on your studies, but Kareem and I would like to remind you that your studies are part of a larger career narrative that you are building. You are all essentially knowledge workers in training. So developing skills in communication, in research, that you'll carry with you into the job market after graduation. And the more that you can recognize the skills that you're developing and articulate them, the better off you'll be. And so we offer some resources that can help you do that. Everything that we offer in terms of graduate professional development can be found at carleton.ca/gradpd. We have a huge calendar of workshops on topics ranging from career planning and job hunting to a series on financial skills. We also have events featuring interviews with alumni who are working in interesting places or positions, or people working in alternative academic positions, so non-faculty positions within academia. All grad students are welcome to come to our professional development workshops. In most cases, though, if you are working as a TA, when you attend these workshops, they can count towards paid pedagogical training hours. So that's a bonus there. Other things that we offer, you can learn how to create an individual development plan or IDP with our CU IDP template so that you can approach your professional development in a mindful and methodical way. We also offer a series of Establish Your Career Narrative workshops every term that can help you do this. We hold communications competitions every year, so like the 3-minute thesis contest or Grad Flicks is another that we've been holding the last couple of years. These competitions, they help you develop communication skills that are really increasingly important in academia and beyond. We have links to lots of resources that are available through Carleton or outside of Carleton. There's so much more, and the best way to keep updated is to join our Grad PD mailing list. And I really encourage you to go to our website. Again, it's carleton.ca/gradpd, and you'll see the button to join our mailing list just below the title. And that's a way we can keep in touch with you about opportunities that are coming up, events that are coming up, workshops, everything. So please sign up if you'd like to stay informed about professional development. And with that, I'd like to pass it to my colleague, Kareem Abouawad, who will tell you about a new program that we've started that we are excited about.
Thank you, David. Just one thing I'd like to mention, if there's one thing you should remember, it's our website. There's a lot more there than we can share with you here in this context. So I really highly recommend you visit our website and see all the resources that we offer to graduate students. So David and I work in graduate professional development. Our mandate is, one, to persuade you that professional development should be an integral part of your graduate school experience. It's not some extra thing that you do on the side, even though it's not technically part of your program. It should be part of your graduate student experience. And two, the second part of our mandate is to make that possible. So the way we do this is we focus on, number one, we focus on individual support. So we have one-on-one supports dedicated to graduate students. You can request consultations to talk about career planning. You can talk about your goals and how you can kind of think about your plans for the future. You can also ask for consultations to discuss writing challenges that you might be facing. We offer writing support to graduate students as well. Sometimes you might be wondering, about the kind of the structure of your writing and, those sorts of things. Feel free to reach out to us. So that's the first part, which is the individual support, and we like to emphasize that part. Second part is kind of giving you a structured program. So it's not just a matter of taking workshops, it's taking workshops and, you know, seeking support and seeking feedback, but also within a structured program. And that's where this new program comes in. It's called Trajectories. It allows you to earn non-credit certificates in 3 different subject areas. So the first one is professional writing, the second one is communications and engagement, and the third one is research management, which is actually a certificate which is mostly offered by the library. You're going to hear from them very soon. So this way you can actually have a structured program and you can earn a certificate where you have a record that you can show to future employers that you have you've worked on developing these skills. So I'm not going to take too long, but the one thing I would say is seek our support and reach out to us. We're always happy to offer you support. Thank you, and welcome to Carleton.
Thank you, Kareem. So next up, we have 2 people who are here to talk a little bit about probably my favorite place on campus, which is Macodrum Library. It's Jane Fry and Heather McDonald, librarians.
Okay. So welcome, everybody. We're here to talk to you about the library and show you what we have to offer beyond books and journal subscriptions. It's a lot of services around research support, which is what we're going to be focusing on. And as you saw in the trajectory certificate, we're going to focus heavily on that. How do you manage your research? So just some general background library information. We offer research support as you're starting out on the literature review for your thesis, for example. Don't ask about your thesis, of course, but we provide help with getting you started with all the resources you need, that kind of thing. There's a mention of interlibrary loans. We are not that big a library. You will come upon items that you do not have access to. By getting an interlibrary loan account, you can get access to whatever resources you need. You should all have an interlibrary loan account. We also help you with your library accounts. The hours and both in-person and virtual support are listed on the library website. We have research specialists in each subject area, so you can go to the library website and find that information, but they are knowledgeable about your particular field and they can help you with your research in that area. In the building itself, the 5th floor is for graduate students. So if you do not have a study space within your own faculty, please feel free to come to the library. The 5th floor is a silent study space with desks and graduate study rooms. You can come in and study there. So there are other floors in the building, of course, but this one is dedicated, meant specifically for graduate students. We also provide evidence synthesis service. So this is helping students with things like scoping reviews, systematic reviews, narrative literature reviews as well, but all of this kind of thing. Scoping reviews are becoming very popular as a methodology. It's somewhat akin to the literature review in your thesis. It's done in a more transparent and replicable fashion. And it's a standalone publication. We offer support for the process, the methodology itself, as well as tools to help with the workflow, so keep that in mind. This is a very busy slide, but I'm just going to highlight the main messages on it. You are going to produce research. You are going to need to know what your rights as an author are. We have people at the library dedicated to copyright and author rights and the agreements you might be required to sign. So come to the library to get help with that. Open access publishing is a model of public publishing where the author pays to publish so that the end user can get free access to the research. We offer support around types of places to publish in open access, but we also have a fund called the Curie Fund, which you can apply for retroactively to recoup your money or some of the money that you might have to pay for publishing articles. Researcher profiles. As a researcher, you need to curate your researcher profile and connect your research outputs, which have unique identifiers, to your profile, and collect the metrics on who's viewing your research. All of these services we do training and provide help for, so keep that in mind with the library as well. I think the next one's you, Jane. Yes.
Yeah, thanks, Heather. So I'm going to be talking to you a bit about the data access and help that we have in the library, because I am the data librarian, so of course I want to tell you all about it. We will help you to access all types of data, whether it be quantitative data, qualitative data, GIS data. As well, we have consultations for you on quantitative, qualitative, and GIS data again, so be sure to contact us. I want to mention here also, David will be putting the slides up on the grad website, so all of this contact information is there, so don't worry about it if you can't get it. Something that's also very important, that's relatively new at the library, is our Research Data Center. There you can get secure access to confidential StatCan microdata and administrative data sets, and it's on the first floor of the library. Another thing I want to tell you about is research data management, because this is very important to all the grad students in here, especially if you're going to be applying for funding from the Tri-Agency. I can show you how to manage your data, how to put together a data management plan. As well, we can help you with data storage and repositories, why, when, and where you can store your data. Now, the last thing I want to mention, and like you said, we have to get out of our comfort zones, and I urge you to get out of your comfort zones also. If you've never been to the library or a library, come and meet us next Wednesday, September 14th, 1 to 3 p.m. For the first hour, there will be some short talks from some of the different resource people in the library, and if you can't make it in person, it will also be virtual, so don't worry about it. The second hour, there will be specialists and librarians in the room that you can come and talk to, ask any questions you want to. And just to make sure we can get you out there, there's going to be at least one prize, and we're hoping maybe a couple of prizes just to get you out there. So all that to say, we're more than books at the library. We're really excited to have you come in and see us. Thank you.
Absolutely. I think, I was going to say that as well, that, that once you start thinking about doing some serious research as part of your studies, especially if you're doing a major research paper, thesis, dissertation, first thing you want to do is walk right over to the library, ask to speak to, a librarian there or a research specialist who can help you start your research. There are so many people at the library who are very, very skilled and knowledgeable. And like they said, it's not just books. It's not just checking out books. There's a whole lot more there. So it should be your research headquarters, I would say. So next, and actually before we continue, I just want to quickly say that, as Jane mentioned, the slides for this are online on the orientation website. So, don't feel that you have to take all this down right away. I know it's a lot to absorb. Next, we'd just like to shift once again and touch on something that that Banu actually brought up, which is the issue of mental wellness, and that's something that we take very seriously at Carleton. It's grad school is such a great mind expanding experience in so many ways. But it's no secret that it can also be at times stressful or isolating or especially intimidating. So we have a speaker now, Magda Georgescu, who's a registered social worker and a graduate student counselor here at Carleton, who's here to talk a little bit about health and counseling services and mental health at Carleton.
Hi, everyone. How is everybody? Good? Good. Well, I'm glad because it's not gonna last. So, graduate school can be both very pleasant and very stressful. So I think all the other speakers already talked to you about how to make the graduate school experience a great one. But also keep in mind that you are gonna struggle, and that's also okay. So when that happens, come to find us at Health and Counseling Services. So we are located on campus, and we are a couple of counselors serving in different roles. I'm the graduate student counselor working specifically with the graduate students. We have an international student counselor as well, a crisis counselor, a trauma counselor, and many other general counselors ready to provide support whenever you need it. Again, graduate school is stressful, and I think this is already a common understanding. Everybody knows that. And research has shown that graduate student populations are at heightened risk for mental health disorders compared to undergrad populations and similarly educated working professionals. There are many stressful aspects of graduate school. The most important ones that I highlighted for you today: balancing high academic workloads, financial difficulties, balancing work with personal and family roles, and also managing supervisory relationships. Another very common experience for graduate students is imposter syndrome. The experience of feeling an imposter comes up very often. So imposter syndrome, the very basic definition of it is the belief that others have an inflated view of your abilities and skills, fear of being exposed as a fraud, tendency to attribute success to external factors such as luck, hard work, or benevolence of others. So if you feel like an imposter, that means that you are not, because usually the real imposters do not have that experience. So what to look for to know if you experience the imposter syndrome: feelings of self-doubt and inability to take credit for personal accomplishments, seeking external validation, sensitivity to criticism, so your supervisor can give you any feedback because you start crying, rumination about a less than perfect performance, and constant focus on shortcomings. So before you come to see a counselor, you can do a few things for yourself to help yourself. And you can remind yourself that people that you compare yourself with compare themselves with others, that your thoughts are not facts, they are just thoughts. There is more right with you than wrong with you, and you focus more on progress than perfection. A few ideas about how to cope in graduate school. Be aware that emotional difficulties may arise. Remind yourself that you are not alone, even though it feels like that. Take notes of your accomplishments. Try to focus on what you can influence: sleep hygiene, healthy diet, exercise, socialize. Collect positive experience. So be intentional about finding a balance in your life, and seek out support. Talk to your supervisor, talk to your peers, access counseling services and other specialized services on campus. Some of the signs that will indicate that you need to reach out and seek support: if you lack energy or feel tired all the time, feel exhausted, experience brain fog, find it hard to think very clearly, find it hard to concentrate, feel restless and agitated, feel tearful, wanting to cry all the time, not wanting to talk or be with people anymore, not wanting to do things that you usually enjoy, and use alcohol or drugs to cope with your feelings. Those are signs that indicate that you need to seek support. And from our experience, and what graduate students usually reported when they access counseling, there are some benefits associated with that. They find a safe space to talk about their concerns. They have their emotional difficulties and their emotional response validated. They find support to make a balance in their lives, in their busy lives, with the recognition of their multiple roles. They learn to identify signs of anxiety, depression, burnout, and relational stress. They learn to contextualize their experiences and relate to their situation from a very different perspective. And they also can learn new skills to manage emotional distress. And at times, they reevaluate their values and goals. So how to access counseling? You need to give us a call. You have the number on the slide. You will speak with a patient care coordinator. They will set you up a file. And from there, the intake counselor will call you. You'll have a brief conversation with them for 15 minutes to understand what your pressing concerns are, what your needs are, and they will do their best to accommodate you with the first available counselor or with the counselor that you need to see. From there, you will have an intake session with your counselor and will book all the other follow-up session with your provider. And also you need to know that we provide confidential services, individual counseling sessions, at times groups. So if you have any other questions, feel free to call the clinic. And also our services are at times advertised, and David and I work very closely to develop and run different workshops on campus for you. Thank you.
Possibly grab the microphone and just reiterate what was said, because nobody online can hear that.
Sure, sure.
Thank you.
You can repeat the question.
Can you ask the question again? Because nobody online heard.
Okay, so let me ask the question again. Let's say a student calls you and it is very clear that the student is severely depressed and maybe have suicidal thoughts. Okay, so this is beyond counseling. And what happens next? And how long does it take? I mean, can the student get help quickly, or is it like, oh, wait another month and we'll make an appointment? So some information on that would be very helpful.
So the clinic is health and counseling services. We are counselors, but also doctors at the clinic. There are medical providers, general practitioners, and psychiatrists in the clinic that we work with. When somebody is in crisis, including suicidal thoughts, they receive help immediately by just calling the clinic. We have a crisis counselor in our team, and they provide immediate access to counseling. The same day appointment is available with our crisis counselor. From there, a student has the possibility to book again a follow-up with the same counselor, or they will be matched with another counselor. As counselors, we do not make any diagnosis, but we do have a good understanding about what mild to moderate depression is, or what major depressive is. So we'll make referral to our doctors in clinic. So students receive not only counseling, but also medication if that's the case. Did that answer your question?
Thank you, Magda. And yeah, like Magda said, we do offer some workshops on more mental wellness issues, not the sort of like severe mental health issues, but mental wellness issues like imposter syndrome. I think that's one of the most common things that people run into in graduate school. I know I experienced it. I know that when you go into your classes tomorrow, you might feel a little bit of it. Just keep in mind that everybody in your classes, they look like they have it all together. They look like they're they know what's going on. A lot of it is a bit of an act, right? So just think, behind the appearances, a lot of people are feeling very insecure. It's not just you if you're feeling that way. So last, I'd like to introduce someone from the Paul Menton Center. The Paul Menton Center is a center at Carleton that works in partnership with the Carleton community in order to increase accessibility and integration of students into all aspects of university life. And they're really an essential service here. So I'd like to introduce Taylor Meissner, MSW and RSW, and she's a disabilities coordinator and learning strategist with the PMC.
Hello, everybody, and welcome. So my name is Taylor Meissner, and I am a disabilities coordinator at the PMC. Part of my role is to arrange for academic accommodations for students who have temporary or permanent disabilities through our disability services. I'm also a learning strategist, so I work with students mainly with mental health challenges, ADHD, and learning disabilities to learn study skills like note-taking, time management, reading and writing analysis to help you succeed in your post-secondary career. The Paul Menton Center for Students with Disabilities, we are known as the gold standard of accessibility. What you might not know is a lot of people actually choose Carleton because of our accessibility services. So the tunnels that we have that make things easier to navigate and stay warm in the winter are also really helpful for mobility devices, for any student who uses mobility devices. At the PMC, we have a number of services and supports that we can provide to you in addition to academic accommodations, as well as chances to connect with other students with disabilities. About 1 in 5 Carleton students will access our services, either for a temporary disability or a permanent disability. So whether you break your arm and you need some support taking notes, you experience a mental health condition, or you have a permanent disability, please reach out to us. We can help you. We have a new video we just released. It's about 3 minutes. I'm going to show that to you folks now for some context.
Welcome to the Paul Menton Center for Students with Disabilities, PMC. Whether you are an undergraduate, graduate, or a special student taking courses to qualify for admission to a degree program, we are here to support you by providing academic accommodations and support services that are tailored to your individual disability-related needs. PMC offers a wide range of services for students with disabilities, including test and exam accommodations, classroom accommodations, learning strategy support, disability counseling, support groups, transition support, and much more. Students with both visible and non-visible disabilities qualify for services from PMC. These disabilities can be permanent, chronic, or temporary. If you are struggling in your studies and feeling unsure whether you are dealing with an undiagnosed disability, please contact us to schedule an information meeting with a PMC coordinator to discuss your situation. Registering with PMC is easy. Please contact us to initiate an intake appointment. You can register with PMC at any point during your studies, but we recommend connecting with us as early as possible. To register, you will need to provide documentation from a regulated medical practitioner that confirms a disability and relevant functional impairments experienced in the university setting. All documentation and personal disability information you share with PMC are kept confidential, and registration with PMC will not appear on your transcript or any university official records. During your intake appointment, you will meet with a PMC coordinator who will be assigned to you during your academic studies. The PMC coordinator will review your documentation and discuss appropriate accommodations and support services that best meet your disability-related needs and academic requirements. If your disability needs change anytime during your studies, your accommodations and supports can be adjusted by your PMC coordinator. After completing the registration process with PMC, it is your responsibility to request accommodations for each course at the beginning of the term and manage your accommodations throughout the term. If you are ready to register or have any questions, email us at pmc@carleton.ca or give us a call at 613-520-6608. We look forward to supporting you in every step of your academic journey at Carleton.
Great, so that's the video. I'm just going to highlight a few practical key points for getting registered with the PMC. Great. So in terms of registering with the PMC, if you're unsure if you have a disability or you're waiting to be assessed, you can still book in with us for an information meeting, and we can provide you with more information about the services that we offer and how to get the correct disability documentation. If you know you are diagnosed with a disability and you'd like to register with us, please complete the forms that are located on our website based on the type of disability with a registered healthcare professional, which will usually be a physician, a specialist, or a nurse practitioner. In the case of learning disabilities, we will require a psychoeducational assessment completed by a psychologist. Once you have your documentation, you can contact our front desk. The information's here, and it will also be posted at the end of the slideshow. And then you'll have pre-intake paperwork to fill out just so that we can issue a few questionnaires and get a better idea of things like mental health, your learning strategy skills, and how your disability impacts your day-to-day life. From there, you'll meet with a disabilities coordinator such as myself, and we'll talk about academic accommodations. We'll talk about things at a grad level as well, because I work with both undergraduate and graduate students. So what's your relationship like with your supervisor? Do you need any support in advocating for yourself if you need certain flexibility due to your disability? So what are academic accommodations? They're supports and services provided to students to access the curriculum and validly demonstrate learning. So at the PMC, we are here to remove disability-related barriers and even the playing field so that people can participate in academics equitably. Accommodations are not modifications to fundamental skills or knowledge, essential academic requirements. They're not intended to guarantee success for the student, but they may remove the barriers that prevent you from being successful. And they're not intended to make it easier compared to classmates. I'd like to highlight a few supports and services that would be especially helpful for grad students. So we have ADHD and anxiety psychoeducational support groups for students who may be diagnosed or may be undiagnosed, but would like to learn strategies for coping with these disabilities from other students and our specialists. We have a grad student writing group if you need some support with writing and you'd like to have a supportive and accountable environment. And we also have our Learning Strategies Workshop series. So we have a 10-week series starting on September 21st that'll be held virtually. And we have a number of sessions that you can sign up for. So you can sign up for all 10, or maybe you just want to go to the workshop on procrastination, or maybe you just want to go to the workshop on studying while struggling, academic survival for when your mental health's not so great. We have other services as well that are available to PMC students. So we have one-on-one learning strategy support. We have assistive technology sessions and training. If you'd like to use like a reading software or note-taking software and you need some support with that. We do have disability-specific counseling. We have a registered psychotherapist who's trained our counseling interns who can provide that free service. We also have mentorship through the PMC, Act to Employ employment services, and accommodation services such as the note-taking service, tutoring service, or alternative format if you need your textbooks converted for easier access. All right, so if you have any questions, feel free to direct them to the pmc@carleton.ca or call the number listed on the slide. Most of our services and information are listed on our website as well, so if you're looking for disability-related documentation forms, you can check there. Okay, well, all the best with your upcoming semester. It's been a pleasure talking to you folks.
All right, thank you so much, Taylor. And thank you all for coming to orientation. Thank you to our speakers for taking the time to come here and speak to new students. I know you've absorbed a lot of new information here, a lot of which you're going to forget. You know, for one thing, the slides are available online, so on the orientation website. So any of the, you know, the emails and phone numbers and things like that, you can find them all on there. And always feel free to reach out to us, contact us anytime. You know, we're here to help you through your grad school journey. So welcome to Carleton, everybody, and have a great year.